In the nearly 2 years that I've been making all these different tree maps, there's been one tree in particular that a lot of you have been asking to see in pretty much every single video, and I've got good news. The wait is finally over. Sorry if this take is no good, but I've knocked on it like a dozen times and it's really hard wood and my knuckles hurt, so I'm done. Okay, bye.
Up today, it's the great state of Oklahoma, which, as I mentioned earlier, I'm making out of a piece of wood from one of the most highly anticipated trees on any of the maps thus far. And that's par for the course for Oklahoma, as back on the map of official state trees, it was made out of a piece of wood from the eastern redbud, a really popular state tree that a lot of viewers were also eager to see. And for the Volume 2 map of 50 unique native trees for Oklahoma, it's the Osage Orange, Maclura pomifera. This really is a fascinating and individualistic tree, and I can't wait to tell you more about it, starting with its native range, which is actually quite narrow. It's limited to the Red River drainage of Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas, as well as the Blackland Prairies and post oak savannas of the region. Now, you might be saying, but Justin, I'm from outside that area and I see these trees everywhere, and you probably do. That's because this tree has been an extremely popular landscaping tree since European colonizers arrived, and it's become planted and naturalized in all 48 contiguous states and parts of southeastern Canada. Now, that limited original native range has led some to hypothesize that the tree is an evolutionary anachronism, meaning that its primary mode of propagation may have been the result of Pleistocene megafauna feeding on the tree's fruit. And after those animals went extinct, the remaining animals who do feed on the tree's seeds and fruit aren't nearly as effective at spreading them as those original ones were. Alright, now that we brought it up, let's get into it. Let's talk about this tree's most distinguishing feature, its crazy looking fruit. This large yellow-green fruit that looks kind of like a brain reaches about 4 to 5 inches in diameter. It oozes a milky latex-like substance when cut. Inside there are hundreds of seeds and dense flesh that smells mildly of cucumber. Now, despite their names, the citrus orange and the Osage orange aren't in any way, shape, or form related. The Osage orange is not toxic, but it's also not palatable. It has this bitter and unpleasant taste that's often so bitter that it leaves the person eating it feeling just a little queasy. So you can eat one, but you're probably not going to have a great time. The seeds are edible, though, and can be toasted and eaten similar to a pumpkin or sunflower seed. The fruit also contains natural compounds that can repel insects, however, they occur at concentrations too low to make it really all that effective. This is a tree with a lot of different names, including mock orange, horse apple, monkey ball, monkey brains, and a little bit more frequently hedge apple or hedge tree. The hedge apple or hedge tree name comes from the practice of early farmers in plain states planting the tree as a natural hedge to keep livestock away from gardens and cornfields. Under severe pruning, the Osage orange sprouts abundant shoots from its base, which eventually become interwoven and form a dense, thorny thicket that was often described as being horse high, bull strong, and pig tight. These hedgerows were a really popular practice, especially in the plain states, until 1874 when the invention of barbed wire changed the game. The tree's most common name, though, comes from the Osage people, who have a host of traditional and modern uses for the tree, most prominently its famously hard wood, which makes for excellent bows, and Meriwether Lewis once wrote that the people of the Osage Nation esteem the wood so much for the purpose of making bows that they travel many hundreds of miles in quest of it. In addition to being extremely dense and hard, it's also incredibly rot-resistant, being notable for many fallen trees sitting out for decades and exhibiting very little rot. It's used for all sorts of things: fence posts, tool handles, woodwind instruments like game calls, and a whole lot more. Its wood is also brightly colored and can even be used to extract a yellow-orange dye. It's also a renowned firewood, burning long and incredibly hot, the hottest burning species of wood east of the Rocky Mountains. This extremely high heat and tendency to violently spit sparks from time to time, though, means that it's not recommended for indoor fireplaces or small campfires in the wild. It's really difficult to not be entranced by a species of tree that produces wood this strong and hard. It's twice as hard as some of the species of trees we tend to think of as really strong and hard, like white oak and hard maple. It's also easily leapfrogged the two dogwood states on the map of official state trees to become the second hardest species on any of the maps so far, though it still falls well short of the Cercocarpus nevada, which is still the champion. Still, of course, this is a really awesome final map piece. It's so smooth to the touch. This striking yellow-orange color looks awesome up on the board, and I can already tell it's only going to pop even more once we start adding additional pieces up there. And as always, tell me which state you'd like to see up there next, and if you have a unique and interesting native tree that hasn't been on either of the maps so far, shout it out in the comments, and we'll see you here next time.